Hey everybody, welcome to Hump Day Hangouts. This is episode 170. It's the 7th of February, and we are all here. So this is a rare day. It's a blue moon. There's something weird going on. So we're going to get right to it. Let's say hi to everybody. Look at this. We got Chris on camera even. How's it going, man?
Doing good. Yeah, new setup here.
Nice. Nice. Good to see you. All right. Yeah, this is weird. I usually don't even see Chris. So, all right. Hernan, how's it going?
Hey guys, what's up? It's really good to be here.
That's it. Yeah,
that's it for now. No, I'm just excited for being here. Yeah, it's really good to be here.
Awesome. Hey Marco, what's up?
Oh man, it's horrible. It was 60 degrees last night.
Oh, that's insufferable. How do you put up with that?
I had to get a sheet, man. That's not fair.
Well, that's good. You know, somebody's got to suffer through it. I'm glad that you can carry that weight for all of us. Oh man, Bradley, how's it going, man? You doing better today?
I am. Thank you for asking.
Good deal.
It was an awful day yesterday. I had a molar crack Monday night, and God, you talk about painful. That shit hurts. So I was in excruciating pain all night Monday night, and then most of the day yesterday until I got into an emergency dentist appointment. Thank God, they pulled the tooth. I was just telling Marco, I was like, the dentist was like, "You've got a fractured tooth. We're going to have to pull it." I was like, just take them all because it hurts so bad, you know.
Oh, my God.
It got done. They even prescribed me some really good drugs, and I didn't even get the prescription filled, which is crazy.
Just so happy to have it out.
Yeah, man. I just was glad to have it out. And it really, I don't need the pain pills, to be honest with you. I did at the time, but now that it's out, it's fine. So, and beer works just as good.
Fair enough. Well, speaking of painkiller, a pain that you might be experiencing is with press releases, and Bradley's got some stuff coming up real soon. I believe we're going to start recording later in the month or beginning of March, and it's going to be basically a press release course. I'm not going to go into a lot of details today, but we are going to offer a special kind of pre-release access to that for people who want to jump in on that. And Bradley, you just got like a quick summary because I know we haven't worked out all the details, but do you want to tell people kind of what you're aiming for with that course?
Yeah, we're going to do a course. It'll be like a live recorded course. So we're essentially going to pre-sell, I guess, access to the course. And then we're going to and I'll have some supplemental training inside the membership area for, right off the bat. Basically like the working procedure or the the step-by-step process, the outline, things like that of what the press release method that I've been using for local SEO is. And then we're going to be recording the training via live webinars, at least 2, possibly 3. But I think we can cover it all in 2, unless we need a 3rd webinar for specifically like Q&A and implementation. But other than that, we're definitely going to start. I think the first webinar is set for March something or another, March 4th or something. Is that correct?
It might be the first top of the month, but I don't know.
March 1st, I think, actually. Yeah.
Cool. So, well, that's going to be coming up. And like I said, we're going to have some more information for everybody. And what we want to do basically there is offer you a really good deal up front. So if that's something you sound interested in, we'll have some more information for you and you can check it out. So on top of that too, we're working on getting the battle plan updated. So we've already released several updates to the battle plan, and loud animals in the background. Doesn't get any better than this when you're live and you can't mute yourself. All right. Going to keep rolling with this. Anyways, with the battle plan, we've already had a bunch of updates throughout the last year, and we're getting ready to update it to version 2.0. So we got a lot of good stuff coming up with that. Just wanted to let everybody know we've had a lot of really good feedback on it, and we're looking forward to sharing that with a lot more people. And then
don't forget the RYS Reloaded Little Black Book V2.0.
That's right. I almost did forget about that. Marco, you want to tell people about that?
It's just that we've done 10 updates already, 10 update webinars since we released RYS Reloaded Academy, and it's time to write up a new version of the Black Book that gives you all of the secrets into RYS Reloaded. And so I'll be writing that up in the next couple of weeks, as well as the Done For You Users Guide. That's coming also. So
and then
look forward to that.
The charity is still ongoing, right? People can still donate. Like we finished that section. I don't know how you want to describe it, but people can still donate to the charity, right?
School year 2018, I actually have a thank you letter from the charity, and I have the receipts for the money, and I have pictures of all of the supplies and everything that we got. So what I decided, and I told you guys, is if we just keep it going all year instead of waiting until the end of the year, we could do a whole lot more. And I think since we have such a generous group of people who follow us, and our membership was really generous also, why not keep it open all year so that you donate a couple of bucks a month? It turns out to be a whole lot of money for what we need. So we'll have that there all year. Subs for kids. I'll post the link. Donate a couple of bucks. Commit to donating a couple of bucks a month, and it'll turn into quite a bit by the end of the year.
Well, yeah, if we can too, Marco, let's maybe we can if you send over the pictures, one of us, we can get the. Or I mean, hell, you could, but we can get something together. Maybe put out a blog post every once in a while with some of the updates on them.
Well, that's another thing that the charity agreed to. They're going to be following up, and I think I mentioned this last time. We're going to get an update from, like they'll follow one child, and we'll get an update. Then the next month, another one, and another one for the entire school year, so that you guys have it. You can actually see what the money's doing. It's not just you give the money and then you don't know. You're actually going to see what the money is doing through these, testimonials. I don't want to call them case studies because they're children, right? But through these wonderful things that are happening with these. You should have seen them. I was there when they came through to pick up the stuff, man. It was fabulous.
Outstanding. Well, if you want to just post a link, I think that's the easiest way to do this. And like you said, we'll just keep doing this. This is awesome that we're able to help them out. So. Speaking of something we're publishing, I got my copy. I'm pretty happy. So I've got the Mastermind newsletter for February. I was actually reading Chris's stuff. So I've got some stuff coming up with Chris. I'm going to be working on some stuff he shared, which was awesome. But I bring this up because I just had a talk with a new Mastermind member who just joined in the last week. And as part of that, we give a consultation call, which I'm not going to reiterate the prices that various of us charge for consultation time. But part of joining the Mastermind is you get a free call to talk to us and go over some things. And that was really illuminating, too, about what he's working on and his goals and working on building his team and doing all that, because it fits right in with what's going on with the Semantic Mastery Mastermind moving forward in 2018 and how we've got several projects on. Bradley's building out a couple businesses. We're dealing with digital only. We're dealing with brick and mortar. We got a lot of stuff going on. So would ask you to keep an eye out. And if building a business is something you're looking to do in 2018, then by all means, check out the Mastermind.
Yeah, and I've got some really good results. So we got a Mastermind meeting tomorrow, or webinar tomorrow. And I've got a lot of really awesome updates for the CrossFit case study and project. And I'm really looking forward to sharing that with everybody tomorrow. So definitely, guys, come join the Mastermind. It's awesome this year. So
awesome.
All right, and are we done on announcements?
I hope so, but or I say I hope so because I've been talking long enough. But did you guys have anything you need to add or want to add?
I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good. Let's do it.
I'm good.
Let's get into some Q&A. All right. Let's see. That's awesome, Wayne. Oh, Jesus. All right. Quintus House is up. He says, good day to the Semantic team. If I syndicate a video through IFTTT, then embed a video or the video and a blog post with spin version of description and add a picture or two to that blog post, then syndicate that new blog post. Am I playing with duplicate fire? Well, no, I mean, here's the thing. And this is, I believe, one of the answers in our knowledge base, because we do get this question somewhat often. Yours is a bit more specific because you're talking about spinning like the YouTube description and that kind of stuff. I wouldn't do that on a money site. I wouldn't spin anything on a money site, to be honest with you, unless you're going to do it manually, which why the hell would anybody want to do that? So anything with your money site, I would not recommend. If it was like just a feeder site, something that you were using like, to feed traffic or whatever into your money site, then that's fine. So like if it's a first or second tier type site, then that's okay. But I wouldn't do it for your money site. So one of the things, guys, we typically don't recommend syndicating video descriptions anyways. You can take a video that's published to your YouTube channel. Okay, listen, if you've got a syndication network that's attached to your money channel, right, and also to your blog, which is perfectly fine to do, and you upload a video and it's, obviously it's going to syndicate out to the network, you can still take that video and go publish a blog post with it. However, and I've said this, again, dozens of times, I know it's in our knowledge base, but what I see people do, which is wrong and causes problems, is when they take the video that has already been syndicated to their branded syndication network, and then they just go over to the blog, embed the video, and then use the same title as the video for the blog post title. And then, you know, the description may be slightly different or whatever, like the actual post body might have some content, because typically the YouTube syndication, you guys know, if you're using the applets like we recommend that you use them, it's typically only going to be published. It's going to be the embed code. Then there will be an actual link to the video, and then a via channel link, right? Or a playlist URL, either one. And so that's all that's ever syndicated to the branded network. What happens when you grab that video, though, and go take it over to your blog and then just embed the video, use the same title, and then maybe there's some slight variations to the text, the post body, to the Web 2 properties that they get syndicated to, it looks like a duplicate post. It looks very similar to, like, because they share basically the same title. It's typically the video is the first thing that pops up. So it's going to look like duplicate posts across your branded network. It's not that it's going to cause you any SEO issues. The problem occurs when the Web 2 branded Web 2 accounts get terminated for spam, because of you're duplicating every post basically. So all I recommend doing is it's perfectly fine to syndicate the video from your YouTube channel to your network, then go create a blog post and embed the same video. Vary the title though. Make the title more like a normal blog post title, which is typically a lot more, it follows a more natural speech pattern, right? It's not, you know, usually when we optimize for a video title, guys, it's literally an exact match keyword and that's it, right? I mean, that's all we want. That's the SEO title. That's what helps it to rank specifically for that particular keyword. So that's usually how we optimize for videos. For blog posts, however, though, it should be a bit more conversational, like the title. And then you should also add some additional content below the video. If you're going to embed the video at the top of the post, you can add, one thing you can do is if there's speech in the video, you can have the video transcribed, right? And just add the actual transcription as the text, which also gives you opportunities to link and, you know, have, you know, internal links or links to offers or, you know, whatever you're doing, you can do all of that too. So just keep that in mind. You know, if you want to syndicate the same video, it's fine. Just make sure that you vary the blog post enough to make it unique. And again, I highly recommend not using spin anything on your money site unless you're going to do it manually, which again, you've got better things to do with your time than spinning. So any comments on that, guys?
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Bradley. We don't use any spin text whatsoever on the money side, because you want the money side to convert, right? And spin text usually doesn't do that. So something that I've been experimenting a little bit with is what Bradley was saying. You know, we use rap.com to get our videos transcribed. We have been using it for a while now, but now what I'm kind of experiencing a little bit is to add a summary on the top of the video. So you have the video, you get it transcribed, and then you make a quick summary, like 2 or 3 main points of that video. And that's your post, that's your blog post, right? So I've been experimenting a little bit with that. And then, yeah, I would definitely get the video transcribed and post that if you want to create a blog post instead of doing, you know, gibberish text, which doesn't work, you know?
Yep. Very good. Okay. Next question is from Kevin. What's up, Kevin? He says, hey, guys, I have a maps question. I have a GMB set up for a snow removal company that now wants to offer lawn care and rank in the maps for lawn care keywords. The business name is KDP Snow Services, and I want to change the GMB business name to KDP Lawn and Snow Services. I guess I don't have to, though. Also, the GMB's main category is currently snow removal, and I want to change it to lawn care and make snow removal a secondary category. If I make said changes, will the map pack rankings for snow removal keywords tank, which are currently ranking? Or Bradley, how would you go about making this transition, but still retain all map pack rankings? Okay, you know, that's a good question. As far as the name, really, I would change here. All right, I'm gonna tell you what you asked me how I would do it. I would go do an analysis of what their current citation profile looks like. So, you know, use Bright Local or White Spark, or, you know, have one of the other services out there create a citation report for you. I'm sure you probably already have access to something, Kevin. Go take a look. How many citations have already been built? Like, where is the NAP published on the web and what does it say? If it's a whole bunch of them, then I wouldn't change the name. because it's going to require you to go back and update all of those citations, which certainly I don't advise you to do that, Kevin. There's services that will do that for you that are much more efficient at it, but it can be rather expensive. For example, Loganix is the best citation cleanup service I've ever used, and I've used many of them. Ever since I found Loganix, though, I haven't used any others. I can tell you that. And in fact, I just ordered another Loganix citation cleanup package yesterday for a client. So it's a really, really good service, but it's $500, you know? So if it's for a client, and you can pass that cost off to them, like I charge, I'll be honest with you guys how I do it. I've got a affiliate account with Loganix, and so what I'll do is I will what I do is I charge a client $600 to do the citation cleanup, and all I do is I set up an account on a webmail domain, a domain mail, a webmail account on the client's domain, and then I go visit my own affiliate link and a clean browser, and then purchase under their domain, their webmail. I purchase the citation cleanup from Loganix. And that way I make $100 off the sale up front. And then, because I marked it up $100, and then I also make a slight commission on it too. And that's perfectly fine because it's for the client. Right. And then it just takes me about, 20, 25 minutes maybe to go through and actually enter all the data into the Loganix dashboard for adding the client and for the citation cleanup project. And so I end up making like, I don't know, $150 or something like that for about 25, 30 minutes worth of work. And then Loganix does all the rest of it. So if it's something that you can pass off to the client, absolutely do that. Make sure that you do as I just mentioned, though, because that way you can still make a few bucks off of it. Or you can charge them as much as you want. I'm just telling you, I typically just charge my clients about $600 for it. And that way I make about $150 off of just basically data entry for a few minutes. Okay. And anyways, if they have a whole bunch of citations, you would have to update all of the citations with the new name. So if they only have a handful, though, then yes, I would absolutely update the name, because it's going to make more sense to have KDP Lawn and Snow Services if you're also offering lawn services. But again, it's not critical. It's helpful, but not critical. Okay. So if you've only got a handful of citations, then you can order like individual citation cleanup. Bright Local has that offering. I believe we offer that inside of SERPspace. There's, plenty of places out there that you can order citation cleanup for like just a set number of citations instead of like all of them, which Loganix just does everything that they find, if that makes sense. That's why it's a one set price. All right. Okay. That said, as far as, let's see, also the GM main category. Yeah. Changing the categories shouldn't affect anything. At least let me rephrase that. I've changed categories for my, stuff that I manage or my own lead gen properties, client stuff as well. I've actually gone in and changed categories before in many cases, and I've never seen that have an effect on my ability to rank. And usually it's because I've ranked them, my client or a lead gen property or whatever, and it had the wrong category designated, and I was still able to rank it. And then I would go in at a later date and change the category to the correct category. And it's I've never experienced any dancing from changing categories. I'm not saying it can't happen. I'm just saying I've never experienced that. Does anybody else here have experiences with movement from changing categories?
I haven't seen it. I mean, and I've done it, and I haven't really seen any type of negative movement. And if there is, you could just hit it with what do you call it? A press release or a drive stack, and just pump it back up, man. It's not really a problem, and it's not a permanent problem. The only time that I saw something negative, it cleared up, so it could have been something else. Well, yeah. So I never really paid it any attention.
So yeah, so Kevin, again, I would if you have a manageable amount of citations, then I would change the name. If there's a lot of citations, though, then I wouldn't recommend it unless you can pass that cost off to the client. Now, if there are a lot of citations and you do decide to change the name, then understand that it likely will do some dancing until the citation cleanup job is done, and that takes about 6 weeks. I'm not saying that it very may well stay in the same position that it's at now by just changing the name. let me give you an example. The client that I ordered the citation cleanup job for just yesterday from Loganix, they have the worst NAP consistency of any client I've ever dealt with. And that is no bullshit. I mean, it is the most awful thing I've ever seen. And I use Bright Local as my reporting software, and the citation tracker report, I mean, it looks like it's a bunch of random business. I mean, there's all some commonalities between the name, but it is so many different variations of their name. And they had 2 different physical addresses, and they had 4 different phone numbers, but the variations of their business name was at least 11 variations of their business name. Think about that. So, you know, and for whatever reason, I still don't understand. They're still they're ranked number 1 in maps for their very specific keyword, right? And plus city, their local modifier. And so I got on the phone with them and I told them, because they're a new client, and I basically told them, look, I can help you guys with this. We're gonna have to order, you know, do a citation cleanup job. But first, before I even do that, we need to decide on one version of your name. And from that point forward, anytime you guys ever do anything online and you're going to post about your business, you have to use that name, because, and so we did, we agreed on a particular name. And so I went into the Google My Business dashboard and I changed the name to the one that we agreed on. And again, that was just, I did that about 2 days ago on Monday, changed the name, and it hasn't moved yet. So I'm not saying changing the name won't cause it to move. I've actually seen it to move quite a bit, but as long as it's somewhat similar, like if you were to change it completely from KDP Snow Services to Kevin's Lawn and Snow Care or something like that, it would probably have a more significant effect, negative effect, at least temporarily, until everything got updated. But by just changing from KDP Snow Services to KDP Lawn and Snow Services, that's very similar to the change that I made to this business's name. Because their name was, again, it was similar, but there was 11 different variations, different punctuation. There was ink on some of them and not on others, and apostrophes in some of them and not on others, and ampersands in some of them and not on others, and all that. And all I did was consolidate it down to one, and I updated the Google My Business profile for the business name, and it didn't move at all. So if it's, as long as, at least from my experience, I've had other experiences similar to that, but that's just a really recent example. If the name change is only slight, then it typically doesn't cause much movement as far as when you change it in Google My Business. Now, updating the citations, that's a different story. You know, again, if you've got a lot of citations, when you start to update them, it's going to start dancing. But if you only have a handful of citations, then you can typically update them, you know, rather quickly, and it doesn't affect it much, if at all. Okay. Good questions, though. I could probably, unless you're in a really northern area, though, Kevin, well, yeah, I guess what I was about to say is in my area, snow removal stuff. That's a fairly easy keyword to rank for, but I'm also in an area that we only get snow like once or, you know, a couple months out of the year. So if you're in an area where you get a lot of snow, it's probably a lot more competitive. The less competitive guys, the less sensitive the listings are to slight changes like that. Okay. All right, Nigel's up. What's up, Nigel? He's here every week asking good questions. He says, good day, gents. Thanks for answers and patience last week. Super helpful as always. By the way, Jeffrey Smith's SEO Bootcamp is going well. The thorough, easy to consume and digest. We'll be implementing soon. Yeah, there's a lot to implement in there, buddy. A lot to implement in there. BrowSEO still working 2018, 2016 Hump Day Hangout solid overview. If yes, any advice on approach, usage, your application of it presently and all. I still use it the exact same way I've always used it, which is just to manage multiple profiles and build histories, you know, like browsing histories and cookies and all that kind of stuff for the personas, for the different accounts. That's all I use it for. There are a ton of other features. I know that. I've never taken the time to learn any of the other features, in part because I hear that the training sucks, it's disorganized and all that kind of stuff. And I'm not trying to put down BrowSEO, but I've heard a lot of complaints about that stuff. We've had a lot of people ask us if we would produce training for BrowSEO over the last 2 years. And I'm not going to commit to doing that because, again, I only use it for a very specific reason. And for that, it works really, really well. Okay. And again, that all I do, like I use BrowSEO specifically just to have a whole bunch of different profiles, persona accounts, whatever. I even keep client accounts and stuff in there now. And that way, when I open up the browser, all the history and everything's still there. And by the way, guys, a lot of those personas are just on my own IP. Like I know I've mentioned in the past, if you're really, really concerned about IP diversity and all that kind of stuff, then you can use proxies with BrowSEO, right? There's absolutely, I would recommend you get dedicated proxies, dedicated private proxies. In other words, and when you get, like, for example, when you buy proxies, a lot of times, like, you have the option, well, some places don't even give you the option, but some places will give you the option of having the proxies replaced every 30 days. And when I say get private proxies, I mean, don't get shared proxies, because then you end up sharing them with other people. And so you got people logging in and, or, with different histories and all that stuff through those IPs. You don't want to do that. You want to get dedicated proxies specific to you. And then you want to have them permanent proxies. Occasionally they might blacklist anyways, and you got to get them replaced, in which case you could replace the proxy or the IP with another IP from the same city, and it typically won't trigger a re-verification of the Google account or any other account for that matter, if it's in the same locality, right? The same, if it's close in proximity. But if you have, again, just so you guys know, most of the stuff I do in BrowSEO is just on my own IP. I mean, think about it, guys. If you've got, but here's the thing. Here's why this is important. When we do what we used to do years ago, which was, and this has been taught in Syndication Academy, but that was, log in to use Firefox, clear it, clear browsing cache history, cookies, all that, run CCleaner, then open up Firefox in a brand new fresh session, and then log into whatever account you want to log into. Well, then what happens when you want to log into another account? You got to go through that process again. And it's not the process that's the problem. The problem is every time you open up that browser, you're in a 100% clean environment again, right? And so that's completely unnatural. That is 100% unnatural, right, guys? I mean, people that log into their accounts, they don't wipe most people anyways, unless you're wearing a tinfoil hat. They're not going to, clean their browser after every session. And so there's no history, there's no cache, there's no no profile being built up for that persona. And so it's very, very unnatural. So again, when I'm using BrowSEO now, I just use my own IP, but every browsing session is accruing its own history. It's building a profile for that persona, right? Because every time I log in, it's still in the same session. Even though it's on my IP, it's in its own browsing session that's attached to that persona, right? And so think about when you go to Starbucks, or you go to a public library, or you go to anywhere where there's public Wi-Fi and everybody's using it. It's all on the same IP, so it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Now, if you're building a shit ton of backlinks from different profiles and stuff, and they're all from the same IP, that's one thing. But if you're just logging into accounts and doing day-to-day activity stuff for your different persona accounts and things like that, it's perfectly fine to have them all under the same IP, right? But as long as the browsers are accruing histories and building a profile for each one of those personas. So they each have their own separate browsing session that isn't wiped clean after every session, if that makes sense. Okay. And I've had zero problems doing that using just my own IP, guys. So I don't even use proxies. Don't get me wrong, I've got a handful of accounts that I still have running through proxies in BrowSEO, but the vast majority of my stuff just runs through my own IP now. Okay. It's a great question, Nigel. So as far as, if you want, somebody else meant, I think there's another, what's the other one, guys, that's not BrowSEO, but other people are using it, they're happy. Is it Ghost Browser?
Yeah, Ghost Browser.
Ghost Browser. Okay. You might want to try that one too. Apparently that one's got better training, and it's not that I'm knocking Simon and his stuff. It's just apparently the training's been disorganized. It's hard to follow. It's hard to find and that kind of stuff. And so if you're looking to do more than just the basic use of what I use it for, then you may want to go with something that is a little bit easier to follow, so to speak. All right, new site content plus seasoning. What's a practical ratio of original versus RSS curation to start? Well, the new site content, typically the pages are going to be written content. It's unique, right? Don't let me confuse you guys. Curated content is unique as long as, well, you're supposed to inject commentary and you're combining other snippets of content from other locations into one unique piece of content. But what I'm saying is usually for pages, I have pages written and then I have posts curated. Okay. Does that make sense? So, that's just basically it. I very rarely do we actually write blog posts unless it's a client that is handling the writing on their own or has somebody in house that is writing. If it's something that I'm providing, we don't write blog posts. We curate blog posts, period. Okay. All right. 10 blog plus 10 videos enough to start, then 2 to 3 per week. For how long? Okay. Yeah. Well, for seasoning, guys, usually whenever I launch a new site, and this is all covered in the battle plan, but I always have at least 3, but usually 5 posts in queue, ready to be curated posts, ready to be dripped out once the site is pushed live. And I usually will post those 3 to 5 posts, depending on the industry. You know, I try to mimic what posting schedules are for other sites in that industry, right? Especially for my local area. And sometimes, like a lot of the contractor niches, they just don't post at all. So what I'll do is I'll submit, you know, I'll drip out 3 to 5 posts over the course of about 2 weeks. And then after that, yeah, you can set up the, you know, automation. Well, I say automation, but we don't do anything automated on our money sites. Everything's done via, you know, virtual assistants. It's done manually. So most of my clients that I provide content marketing services for, it's at least 1 blog post per week. Okay. I've got some clients we do 3 blog posts per week. That's about the extent of it, though. It's between 1 and 3 posts per week is usually what I do. But again, it's all done manually. It's not done via automation. Okay. For how long? Until you get results. If it's a client, indefinitely. For how long? Indefinitely, because that's a monthly recurring service that you charge them for, right? And I mean, here's the thing. For my own lead gen sites, guys, I publish enough posts with the syndication networks to get it to rank, plus the other stuff that I do now, right? Press releases, drive stacks, all of that. Once it ranks, I stop publishing posts until I need to again, because it's just an expense that I don't want to cover. For clients, however, it's not that I'm just trying to take their money. It's the thing with client, like for me, my own lead gen assets, I want to run them as lean as possible, right? So spend as little money as possible. I want to get results with the least amount of effort and resources as possible. So as soon as I get results, I stop blogging until it needs it again. But for clients, and when I say until it needs it again, guys, it's typically because I drop from A position to B, or from B to C, or from A to D, and I go out of the 3-pack and then I lose calls, and then it's like scrambling. And yes, it would make more sense to continue just doing blog posts so that I don't lose that positioning at all. But again, for my own lead gen stuff, I want to run as lean as possible, so I don't do that. I just run them until I get ranked. Once I get ranked, I don't run them anymore. Then if I need to give it a boost a few months down the road, 6 months, a year down the road, whatever, then I'll you know, tell my curators, hey, I need you to go publish a few more posts over here, and they'll go handle it, and then I get my rankings back. But for clients, I don't want them to experience that drop, right? So when clients ask me, can we get ranked and then stop this service? I tell them, no, absolutely not. Well, we can, but there's a very good chance that you're going to drop in rankings. It's probably not going to occur right away, but it will. And then you're going to be calling me and saying, what do we got? What can we do to get these rankings back up? And then you're going to have to be patient while the SEO work works. You know, the SEO work takes effect. So if you'd rather just keep up at the top of the maps ranking and generating the phone calls that listing provides, you may as well. My suggestion, my advice is that you continue the service, you know, and so that's how I sell it, and that's how I justify it. And I mean it that way. It's not that I'm trying to take people's money. It's because I don't want them to experience a drop in call volume because we weren't blogging, you know, because it's a nominal expense, guys. If you're producing good results, they should be happy to pay for it. Right?
I also think it's important for our guys and gals, you know, for everyone, to understand that what we're doing when we're syndicating, when we're using our syndication networks, when we're using RYS and all of the strategies that we use, is we're directly targeting the freshness algorithm, and then we're triggering the distance graph. So those are 2 very important ranking factors that we do just by publishing a blog post and maybe sending a link into Drive, into your G site, into your My Map, into whatever it is that you're doing with RYS, into your syndication network, which is pushing back to your money site, whether it's the blog post and a page, a silo page that you rank, however it is that you have it arranged to push power all around. This is what you're achieving. If you stop that, then you're stopping not only link building, but you stop triggering the freshness algorithm. And then, like Bradley said, once you do that, well, why should the bot come back if it's not getting anything new out of your website. It'll just go somewhere else and look for it until you do we call it the G tickle again, and tell the bot, hey, come back because we got some new stuff for you.
That's right. That was a great question, Nigel. 2 in a row, man. He's the winner today. Nigel's the winner. I haven't even read the rest of the questions, and I'm going to try to roll through the last one. Could BrowSEO for engagement plus RYS before IFTTT syndication be a viable seasoning strategy to warm up new networks? Yeah, it absolutely could. You know, you could send some, like if you had personas and stuff like that, that you could have like for example, follow Tumblr blogs, engage, maybe comment and stuff like that. That's going to make your branded network properties look so much more real, right? I mean, they're real anyways, but by providing some engagement and stuff like that, that's a lot of work. If you only got a couple of projects that you're working on, then that's something you could implement. Or if you hired some virtual assistants that you have them running, you know, doing that kind of work for you through BrowSEO, then that's something that absolutely would work. I don't do that only because it requires quite a bit of, you know, setup and resources, but it's, you know, and I got a lot of projects, but that's something we've actually talked about at Semantic Mastery, was building teams of VAs that could run BrowSEO to do that, provide engagement, like real engagement. So maybe in the future that'll come. Mohammed's up. What's up, Mohammed? He says, hey guys, can I add internal links to a post after it's been syndicated? Would they still have an effect? Yeah, you can, but the link is only going to be present in the post on the blog on your money site. It's not going to be syndicated. It doesn't update the syndicated posts when you update on the blog. Does that make sense? If you were to republish the post with a new link in it, then it would re-syndicate with the new link in it. So all the Web 2s would also include the link, which, you guys, if you're just using the syndication networks with the 3 primary blog properties, there's really only 3 properties that I mean, you get like, you know, Blogger, Tumblr, WordPress, right? Those are going to because those are the only ones that we syndicate the full content of the post to. Other than like document storage, like Google Docs, for example, which in that case, you'd want the link from that too, right? But if you go in and change a post after it's been syndicated, it's only going to update on the blog itself, not all the other properties. Okay. How high can monthly SEO?
Can I stop you for a second?
Please.
The pro version of our RSS plugin, Mohammed, which you have access to as a mastermind member, has the ability it has a setting where you could have it republish the old post. So yes, by all means, you can go change the internal links. It won't matter on that first post, but when the time comes for that post to recycle and repost, it'll go out with the new links. So you have access to that.
Yep. Thank you, Marco. He says, how high can monthly SEO retainers go? How high can you think, Mohammed? Like, how high can you count? And I say that kind of tongue in cheek, guys, but you know, I've seen SEO retainers, you know, tens of thousands of dollars, no kidding, depending on the size of the company. Not something I've ever done. The biggest I've ever done was $3,500 a month. And I don't like working for companies like that big. Honestly, I like working with the smaller companies. That's just my own personal preference. So my average across all of it's gone up a little bit, but it's closer to $900 a month now for my clients. But again, I've got a lot of, well, I don't even have a whole lot of clients anymore, but I've got several clients that are grandfathered in at like peanuts, which is really ridiculous, but they've been good clients and there's no reason for me to raise their prices. At least I don't feel there is. So $2K a month. I mean, that's pretty average. A lot of the people in our mastermind are running somewhere between, you know, $1,000 to $2,500 a month, depending on the size of the client. So yeah, it's going to vary. It's going to depend on, you know, how much money they have, like how good they're doing, and, you know, how kind of results you can produce. But I'm not kidding. I've seen, you know, $25,000, $30,000 a month SEO retainers before. So I know Marco's seen some big ones too.
Yeah, I mean, it just depends the company. If you're doing local, you have to understand the local economy. If it's a local guy, well, a plastic surgeon in Beverly Hills is local, but you're not going to charge that guy $2K for a client that might be worth $100,000 to him, a lifetime client that maybe $500,000, maybe more. It depends on the clients that you're bringing into him. So you have to understand your market. You have to understand the market's economy. You have to understand the people that you're dealing with. A mom and pop store may not have the ability to pay that $2K, but they have the ability to pay something. And if they grow, then of course they should understand that the retainer is going to go higher each month.
Yeah.
But it's just understand the market, understand the people that you're working for, understand what a lead is worth to that person. And if you know that you can produce X amount, then you already know what your retainer should be.
Yes, sir. John's up. He says, hey, John, he says, how crazy can I go with press releases for a new site? I wish Rob was here. Should I wait during the time the site is in the sandbox? Okay. I'm going to tell you what I typically do for press releases, guys. It's natural for press release links, like a huge influx of press release links, even for a brand new site. And why I say that is because what do people do when they launch a new service or new product or a new website, new business? They want to tell the world. What better way to tell the world than to publish a press release? So it's perfectly natural to do that. That's about one of the only things, either that or something going viral. Those are pretty much about the only two times that you can get away with a massive, what they call link velocity, real high volume of link velocity with a brand new site. I wouldn't recommend really any other time that you would like hit it with hundreds of links at once. You know what I mean? Other than a press release, or if something like a post on the site was to go viral, right? So typically what I do for a new site is I'll publish a press release, and then I've been recently, for the last several months, since I've been doing a lot of testing, I publish one press release about every 2 weeks for most of the sites that I handle. And that goes for client sites now, as well as my own lead gen stuff. I'm publishing about 2 press releases per month per site. However, Rob, who's, co-creator of RYS Reloaded with Marco, he's also been doing a lot of press release testing and stuff. He's like one of our testers now. He's doing all kinds of lab experiments, which is awesome. He's a great guy. But anyways, he's been doing a ton of testing, and he'll hammer the shit out of new sites with press release after press release after press release. I wish he was here to say if he's experienced anything negative, but all I've heard is the positive. So as far as I know, it's the sky is the limit, but I would still be a little bit cautious until I got confirmation from perhaps Rob, maybe on the next webinar. Do you know, Marco, what his experience has been?
Yes, absolutely. The only thing that it'll cause is wild dancing. I mean, just really wild. It'll drop off. It'll come back. So you'll think you're de-indexed, and then all of a sudden you're back up at number 2. But it'll keep going like that for a while until it settles down. Now, if you and again, well, I don't know if John is in any of our groups, but if you use the strategy like Bradley teaches, or the way that we use it, which is through the buffer, right? We always go through that stack, that drive stack buffer, and we push through there. We push through through my maps and any other way into tier 1, as a matter of fact, because it's perfectly okay to include one of your tier 1 properties as a link to that, drive people to that. People will come through naturally to your website. And what better way is there than to notify search engines that your website is trusted, than to get traffic flowing in, even if it's brand new.
Yeah.
That the natural way that it would happen is you announce that you're present in social media, and people start coming in and looking at your project. So that's how you would shoot the press releases. I'm not going to talk about the entire strategy here, because I mean, people are paying a lot of money for that. But if you can think outside the box, you can figure it out, or come join our mastermind.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
It's in there.
Yeah, and the press release training that is coming out next month, or we'll be launching it, I guess, next week. But we're going to cover a lot of this in that, so I would highly recommend that you pick that up. But all of this is covered inside the mastermind all the time, like everything. So anyways, what are your recommendations to push power for a site only 2 months old? Syndication network, blogging consistently, drive stack, press releases, and then traffic. You can send traffic, even YouTube ads, guys, which are dirt cheap. If you go in and set up YouTube ads that are targeted, if it's a local business, you can set it up by geography, and you can drive traffic for pennies per click to your site. And that's super relevant traffic because it's from local IPs. And also, if you do your topical targeting or keyword targeting, what it's called layering, when you add different types of targeting criteria, right? But as far as location targeting, it's very, very simple because you can just set radius or whatever you want around your specific business, and you can drive traffic into the site very, very cheaply. Whether the shit converts or not, it doesn't really matter. I mean, it certainly is better if you have a good ad campaign that can produce like leads or sales or whatever. Absolutely, that should be an end goal. But I'm not going to lie. A lot of times I set up YouTube ad campaigns for new sites just to drive traffic from a very specific geographic region into the site so that I'm getting natural traffic signals, if that makes sense. And so you don't have to just use YouTube ads. I just use that as an example because it's inexpensive. You could use Bing. Bing is cheaper than AdWords for sure. And you could get search click ads, which that type of ad or those type of clicks will typically be clicks that will convert to leads or sales, right? Depending on what your conversion goal is, your conversion objective is. For me, it's typically leads, right? And so, you know, I recommend YouTube ads because it's so much, it's the cheapest of all. And I don't do Facebook stuff. That's what we have a Hernan for. So I can't speak on that. Hernan could probably talk about that. I'm sure Facebook's a great source of traffic for seeding traffic into a new site as well. It's just not something I do. You want to comment on that, Hernan?
He dropped off.
Had some issues and had to drop off.
Okay. Okay. Well, we're going to keep moving. But that was a great question, John. So I definitely, but yeah, syndication networks, drive stacks, press releases, those are like traditional SEO stuff you can do, right? But you want to drive some traffic in there because, guys, traffic is like where the magic happens now, right? It really does. If you can just drive some traffic through some of your properties that you've been doing SEO work for or with, you're going to get so much better results, right? Ben's up. Ben says, I have an old two-tier network from about a year ago that I stopped using because the traffic wasn't converting. It was Swedish language content that I was trying to convert with an English language offer. It didn't work. Thousands of clicks, not a single sale. My current project is all English language. Is it possible to repurpose the old Swedish T1, T2 network with the new project? Yeah, absolutely. I remember saying that networks bind to an IP. It's been over a year since I posted anything. I deleted all the old content. Do you think it would still be effective? Yeah, Ben, absolutely. I just talked about this, I think last week. If not last week, it was 2 weeks ago. But I went through and found 95 syndication networks, full syndication, well, just single tiers, but 95 rings that weren't being used anymore because they were from PBN sites that I let expire. And they, I mean, some of these syndication networks were built in 2012. I'm not kidding. And they're still alive and kicking today. They just haven't had any content posted to them in forever. So I just had one of my VAs going, and we've repurposed 45 of them. 45 or 50. I still have about 45 left that still are just sitting dormant right now. But they went, I mean, some of those networks, especially the ones from back in 2012, have been repurposed 4 and 5 times. And it doesn't matter. They're still there. They're still working. So absolutely you can repurpose them. Okay. Don't just start new ones all the time, guys. If you've got networks out there that aren't being used, repurpose them, right? Save some money. Hire a VA to do it, by the way. Don't do it yourself. Hire a VA.
Can I just say that he left probably thousands of dollars on the table because he got thousands of clicks, but the offer was in English. When he saw that there were no conversions, why didn't he send them to an email sign up so that he could deliver? What's that?
An opt-in or even a retargeting pixel or something.
Whatever, so that he could just harvest all of those thousands of people and send them to wherever you want. I mean, that's why you do retargeting. That's why you harvest emails. That's why you do all of these things so that later on, when your list or while your list is building, you can just market to them anything that's related to their interest. I mean, even remotely. And they either opt in, they ignore it, or they opt out. If they opt out, then we're never going to buy anyway. So who cares? But you let thousands of clicks go, and what happened to all of those emails or perhaps retargeting campaigns?
Yep.
I would say that there's money in that Swedish language content if he uses it correctly.
Yeah, and the beautiful thing about remarketing, guys, is, again, I can't speak for Facebook, although I understand it's similar. But for AdWords, remarketing lists, like, it's dirt cheap to send clicks from YouTube videos to a remarketing list. It's like literally I get clicks between 1 to 3 cents per click from or per view, I should say, to the remarketing list. And if it takes 5 views at 3 cents per click, or excuse me, 5 views at 3 cents per view to get 1 click, then I paid 15 cents for a click. Does that make sense? So it's dirt cheap. And I mean, I've gotten, you know, again, I get clicks or views for as low as a penny on using a remarketing list. So something like that. And I understand in Facebook, it might not be that cheap, but it may be. Hernan's not here to confirm, but I know that it's a lot cheaper to market to a remarketing list than it is somebody cold. So Ivan, what's up, Ivan? He says, questions about the Groth Solution webinar. I want to start a weekly webinar on computer questions and answers. Okay, that sounds awesome, Ivan. You know, one of the best things that we've ever done was start this Hump Day Hangout series. And I highly recommend. In fact, I was at the SEO Rockstars event earlier this, or I guess last year now. And there were several people that were asking, like, what is your best solution for growth? And I said probably one of the most consistent things we've ever done is Hump Day Hangout. So it's absolutely a great strategy. It's just consistency is what's required, right? Don't hit or miss it. You got to do it consistently to build a following. All right. Where do you set up an event page like this one? Go to Google plus.google.com/events. It's so stupid that they took that out of the menu options now. You can't find it via navigation. You got to go direct to the URL, but it's plus.google.com/events. That's how you set it up. Okay. Do you promote the event with your ads or just build it and they will come? No, I wouldn't promote. I haven't promoted an event page with ads. At least I can't remember if I ever have. If I had, I think I would have remembered. But we've promoted opt-ins, like send people from ads to an opt-in, which then puts them on a list, and then we email them with the events, with the links to the events. I'm sure you know, Ivan, because you get our emails telling you to come to Hump Day Hangouts. You know what I mean? So, but you probably could run people directly to an event page. But what I like to do is try to send them somewhere where we can capture their contact info, whether it's an email or, like I said, remarketing. And you can't put, as far as I know, you can't put a remarketing tag on an event page. You can on an opt-in page though, right? So right. My point, go ahead.
If you use something besides Google Plus, you could probably do it, but just,
yeah,
it's a really easy setup with Google Plus, and it's simple, which is why we use it.
Yeah. And we've tried other sources of event stuff before, guys, and we've always come back to just using the Google Plus because it just works well with Facebook, with YouTube, and I prefer this platform. I hate the new Google Plus, just so you know, but I still like Google Events because it's just simple. And again, we've tried several other different like webinar platforms and the chat boxes and apps. There's just always freaking problems. And this is consistent. It makes it easy. You guys can see what I'm looking at while I'm looking at it, as opposed to like Webinar Jam where you can't really see the chat box or what I'm seeing and all that. I just prefer this setup for webinars. So. Do you promote or just build it and they will come? Yeah, again, you can run some ads. Social media, posts and things like that help to, especially if you're in groups, Facebook groups, even Google Plus groups, whatever, around people that are interested in, PC or computer questions and stuff like that. Then just get in there and share, get in there and start. I mean, that's what we did when we initially got started. Was a lot of us were just in different groups and just chatting about stuff. And then just, we try to be helpful. And then we would drop a link, say, hey, we got a free Q&A webinar we do. Come check it out. And we started building a following that way. We have run ads, though, like I said, to from I'm sure Hernan's done some stuff from Facebook, but I've done ads from YouTube before to start building, where we were targeting like other SEO channels, SEO keywords, that kind of stuff. And we've done fairly well with those. So, and by the way, in Mastermind next month, or in the next module, which is going to be video marketing module, we're going to be talking about YouTube ads in there. We're doing a PPC module right now, but it's search PPC, not video, right? So we're going to be doing video PPC next, as well as video SEO. It's just video marketing module, period, which is going to cover all that stuff. And one of the projects that I'm going to be setting up and building throughout that module, the video marketing module, is going to be a subscribe campaign for the Semantic Mastery channel. So we're going to be using YouTube ads to help build our subscriber list or to our YouTube channel. So that's going to be something really interesting to do. So come join the mastermind already, Ivan. That's what I was getting at. We're almost out of time, guys. We got just a few more questions. Scott says, what's up, Scott? He says, at what point do you tell the client they really must have a new website or you won't be able to help them? I've been working with a client who has a site using the Jupyter theme, and it's very difficult to work with this theme. Do you have themes that are on your no-fly list? Thanks so much. Yeah, anything, well, anything outside of WordPress, I tell them flat out I'm not working on. I won't do it. If you guys want me to do SEO for you, that's fine. I'll install WordPress on a subdomain of your main domain, and I'll use that. I'll do all my SEO work from there. If it's an actual, yes, if somebody has a WordPress site already, but it's on an old theme or a theme that I'm not comfortable, or a lot of times, guys, when I get a client, if they already have a WordPress site built that somebody else did, then like I'll go in and I'll poke around the dashboard and I'll tell them like, look, set me up with an account, create a user account for me. I'll log in and I'll poke around and tell you if I feel comfortable messing with this theme or not. Because I'll tell them flat out, like I'm not a WordPress developer or a designer. Like I use very specific theme developers, and it's just a handful of them. I've used Ink Themes for years, which is not the greatest developer, but I've been using them for years. And also I've been using Thrive Themes a lot recently, which Thrive's got a lot of really good stuff. So between those two, if it's outside of that, then I'm not saying I won't work on a site that's not one of those two developers, but I will go in and poke around. And if I feel that it's going to be too difficult or too much of a learning curve, then I flat out tell them I'm not going to work on the site. If you have a webmaster or somebody that you've had work on your site in the past, or build your site or whatever, maintain your site, then I will provide consultation. In other words, instructions for what to be updated, what needs to be updated, and they can handle that. But I'm not going to do it. Okay. And last resort is if they don't have somebody that does their, has been handling their website that I can provide the consultation services to, the instructions to, then I will just go to Upwork. But that's an expense that I pass to the client. In other words, and I'm at mark it up because I've got to go manage the outsourcer, right? I got to go hire somebody, screen and hire somebody, and then manage them. So I'm going to pass that cost over to the customer with a markup, if that makes sense. And I'll tell the customer flat out, I'm not going to be the one editing your site because I'm not comfortable with that theme. However, I can get somebody to do it, and it'll just be a separate line item on the invoice. If that makes sense. Okay. Good question, Scott. Walt says, how the heck do we delete event photos? It's funny. I know. We gotta love Wayne's memes. Quit this house. If you have poked and found keywords that are ranking, is it still a good idea to use Rocket Video Ranker, or is that redundant? No, you can, because remember, a lot of time, well, it depends on what you're doing, but Rocket Video Ranker will upload the videos that are like live videos. Like, I use the LiveRank Sniper for poking, which just creates scheduled live events. They're not actual videos. And so once I've discovered, and I use that tool all the time, guys, LiveRank Sniper, I freaking love that tool. Anyways, whenever once I figured out all the keywords, then I just go delete all of them from whatever channel I use. And I use one channel now for LiveRank Sniper over and over and over again. It's a channel that I bought. It was an aged YouTube channel from 2006. I bought it for $50, and I use that channel now for poking every single time. And it's the same channel, and it's crazy. I'm surprised it hasn't gotten terminated, because I'll create 25 or 30 live events in a 24-hour period, and then I delete them all and do another 25 or 30 events the next day. But once I've figured out the keywords, I delete them all, and then I'll use something else to upload the videos to. And I'm actually using one of Peter Drew's other tools, Hangout Millionaire, to do that now. Rocket Video Ranker will still work. It absolutely will. Just Bill Cousins. It is Bill Cousins. Yeah, he actually just recently did an update to that training, talking about how you don't want to have outbound external links in your video descriptions if you're going to use Rocket Video Ranker, and you turn all 30 videos on live at one time. Apparently that may have been what's been triggering some of the channels to, like, basically they don't no index, they don't get terminated, they just don't index, or they'll index very briefly, and in every video on the channel gets de-indexed, but the channel still remains live. You can still view the videos, they're just not an index. And apparently, according to Bill, and I didn't attend the training, but I saw his post on Facebook about it. He said that there was an issue with, or maybe it was an email, that there was an issue with having outbound links in the video descriptions when you do that. And so the better route would be to upload the videos with no outbound links and descriptions, and then you can go back through and add the links in gradually. And he's got one of the tools that I think I'm not sure if it's part of the suite or not, but it's called Video Link Vortex. Apparently that will allow, it has a setting now that he's coded in there that will go in and drip those links into the existing videos over time, so that it doesn't cause the channel to basically de-index, if that makes sense. So yeah, you can use it, guys. Just remember, each tool is going to have a very unique strategy, and you just got to learn how to use it very well. Anything that you want to do with Rocket Video Ranker, I would direct you to ask Bill and Bill Cousins and Lem Moore, because those two are the ones that are behind that, and they know that tool so much better than I do, right? So that's a good question, though. We're almost out of time. We are out of time. Also, if you have poked and found the keywords that are ranking, would you use 30 complete unique videos in Rocket Video Ranker with your money site? Or would that still not be a good idea? No, I wouldn't do that. With Rocket Video Ranker, the beautiful thing about that is when it is that you don't need a syndication network or anything. You just need a YouTube channel. So I would not use that with a money channel. Like I would create I would go buy a YouTube channel or create it yourself, but I just buy them now. And I would just use a channel with no syndication. It can be an orphaned account, meaning there's no connection to anything else on the web, and just upload 30 videos to that, and that's it. Because if the channel burns, you just upload the same 30 videos to another channel, right? You don't want to do that to your money channel, though, because you don't want to upload 30 videos, even if they are, well, I guess if they're unique, but that kind of defeats the point of using the tool if they're all unique, right? Because that's really not going to save you time. So I would recommend that you don't do that on a money channel. Use it for spamming, but not for money channels. That's my own personal opinion on how I use it. All right. All right, guys. Sorry we ran out of time again. Look at all these questions from Damon. Damon, you're gonna have to ask those questions in the mastermind, buddy. By the way, we've got mastermind webinar tomorrow.
Woo!
So, all right, guys. Sorry about the time, but great questions today. So we appreciate everybody being here. Thanks, Marco and Adam, for sticking around.
Later, man.
Bye, everybody.
Don't forget mastermind members webinar tomorrow. Don't miss it. It's a good one.
You there?
See you.
They're all good.